It was meant to be a standard news conference. The world number one, Aryna Sabalenka, sat at the podium and responded to inquiries about how she was getting ready for the grass season. The 21-year-old Filipina star Alex Eala was in the hotel getting ready for her own impending press appearances. The entire room froze as the Belarusian champion suddenly did something. An unexpected gesture, an innocent-seeming remark, and a response from Alex Eala that nobody anticipated. Not even Sabalenka herself, the media, or the tournament authorities. Why is this moment being referred to as the most startling encounter of the grass season? And what did the world number one say or do that infuriated the Filipina star? Edgbaston Priory Club, Media Centre, Birmingham, England, June 6, 2026, 2 p.m. The Edgbaston Priory Club's Media Centre was crowded. With their cameras and recording equipment pointing at the podium like guns ready to fire, rows of journalists from Manila, London, Melbourne, and other places had crammed themselves into every available seat. The current Australian Open winner and world number one, Aryna Sabalenka, was seated in the middle of the stage. Her grin was effortless and her posture was comfortable. She was at the Birmingham Open doing her pre-tournament media duties after wrapping up a practice session on centre court. At first, the inquiries were standard. After the clay season, how did your body feel? What do you want to achieve with the grass? How do you get ready for Wimbledon? With the composed assurance of a player who had won 4 Grand Slam championships and spent years at the top of the sport, Sabalenka responded to each one. However, her attitude changed when a reporter questioned her about the young athletes she was observing, the up-and-coming talent who may one day contend for her reign. Sabalenka leaned forward and added, "There are so many. Of course, Coco, Mira, Linda, and Alex. Eala Alex." The room shook when the name of the Filipina celebrity was spoken. After winning the semi-final, Eala was waiting for her own news conference in the rear of the building. Sabalenka reiterated what she had previously said, "She's a strong and independent woman. You are insulting yourself when you disrespect her. I greatly admire what she has achieved." The remarks appeared flattering, even commendable. Then, though, something altered. A reporter inquired as to whether Sabalenka had watched the video of Eala's recent press conference, in which the Filipina made audacious demands of the WTA about assistance for players from impoverished countries. Cameras caught Sabalenka's knowing, almost contemptuous smirk in great definition. "I was informed about it. It's excellent that she is young and has lofty goals." Perhaps, though, she hesitated and made a seemingly innocent but somewhat menacing hand gesture. Before instructing the WTA on how to operate, perhaps she should concentrate on her serve. The space became chilly. The remark alluded to Eala's well-known flaw, the serve that former British number one Greg Rosetsky had noted as the main barrier preventing her from competing at the highest level. The woman with one of the most lethal serves in women's tennis, Sabalenka, was publicly highlighting her opponent's weakness. Eala had previously declared that she would steal the serve if she could. Alex Eala had heard every word as she stood close to the rear of the media centre, awaiting her time. Edgbaston Priory Club, Media Centre, Birmingham, England, June 6, 2026, 2:07 p.m. When the Belarusian champion did something that increased the intensity beyond anyone's expectations, the room had not yet recovered from Sabalenka's serve statement. A reporter raised a hand to inquire about the tour's physical demands and how younger athletes, like Eala, were adjusting to life on the professional circuit. Sabalenka listened and gave a contemplative nod. Then she grinned once again, that same knowing, almost contemptuous look, and made a motion that was caught on camera from all sides. She rolled her eyes. In a room full of reporters who are trained to pick up on even the tiniest nuances, it was obvious, even though it was subtle. Just a split second. When Alex Eala's name was mentioned, Sabalenka rolled her eyes. "Look, everyone wants to be a champion, everyone wants to be famous, but wanting and being are two different things," she said, bending forward. "You must work hard and develop your serve, foundation, fitness, and mental toughness. The requests are meaningless without it." Like smoke, the words lingered in the air. It was a dismissal rather than merely a criticism. Alex Eala, who was positioned close to the rear of the media center, had saw and heard everything. Later, witnesses recounted how Eala's demeanor changed, her jaw clenched, and her eyes, which had been fixed on her phone, lifted and latched upon Aryna Sabalenka's figure at the podium. She remained still for a time before giving her phone to her agent and starting to travel in the direction of the media center rather than away from it. She caught the attention of the reporters in the back rows first, and rumors began to circulate. Sabalenka's approach was captured by cameras that had been trained on her as they started to turn. "Oh no," said someone in the front row. Sabalenka appeared oblivious to what was going on behind her as she continued to respond to inquiries. She was deep in conversation about the difficulties of maintaining her position at the top, the grass season, and her preparations for Wimbledon. Then she heard the sound of footsteps. She turned to see Alex Eala standing a few steps away from the stage, her arms folded and her face blank. The entire room froze. Nobody breathed or moved. For the first time in her career, Sabalenka was truly surprised. Edgbaston Priory Club, Media Centre, Birmingham, England, June 6, 2026, 2:10 p.m. The room was utterly silent. The world number one, Aryna Sabalenka, sat still at the podium. The swagger that had led her to 4 Grand Slam victories, her typical confidence, was vanished. She seldom ever displayed its spot. Uncertainty. With her arms folded and her gaze fixed on the Belarusian champion, Alex Eala stood a few steps away. Eala's jaw tightness, the fire in her eyes, and the way her chest rose and fell with deliberate breaths were all recorded by the cameras. Then Sabalenka aired. She made an effort to laugh it off. "Come on, Eala. I was only being truthful. You are aware of my admiration for you. I have already stood up for you. Remember how I described you as a strong, self-reliant woman?" Eala's face remained unflinching. "When it was simple, cost-free, and everyone was watching, you stood up for me. Now, when you believe no one is looking, you roll your eyes, brush off my serve, and wonder if I've worked hard." She moved in closer. "Aryna, that isn't respect. That is a performance." Sabalenka's grin vanished entirely. The seasoned reporters in the room, who had covered everything from doping scandals to Grand Slam finals, were scribbling frantically, catching every nuance, gesture, and word. Eala went on, raising her voice just enough to fill the space. "I would want to discuss my serve. All right, let's discuss your return. You've spent years battling it. Everyone is aware of that, but since competitors don't do it, you don't see me pointing out your flaws from a podium in front of the world's media. Bullies act in this way." Sabalenka winced. "Alex, I'm not a bully." "Then cease being one." The words hit like a slap. Eala steadied herself by taking a breath. Her voice was calmer but in some ways more terrible when she spoke again. "I was born out of nothing. There are no Grand Slam champions from my nation. Nothing. I've taken each step by myself. I've had to struggle to get allowed on every court I've played on. I had to demonstrate my worth to each sponsor I signed. You were born into a supportive system. Before you could even handle a racket correctly, you had federations, coaches, and facilities. So don't even try to lecture me about my job. You dare not ask if I deserve my position." Sabalenka parted her lips to reply, but nothing came out. Eala looked around the room as she turned to face the media. "I'm done being here." Her footsteps reverberated in the startled hush as she turned and left the media center. Nobody pursued her. Nobody returned her call. As though they were waiting for her to come back, the cameras remained focused on the door through which she had vanished. She didn't. The world number one, 4-time Grand Slam winner, and most formidable player in women's tennis, Aryna Sabalenka, sat by herself at the stage, her hands shaking a little and her face pale. The stillness was finally broken by a reporter. "What are your thoughts on what Eala just stated, Aryna?" Sabalenka glanced toward the microphone. She remained silent for a considerable amount of time. She shook her head after that. Nothing to say. She got up, grabbed her belongings, and left the stage. The issue was just getting started, but the press conference was ended.